What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espeon here, and welcome back to the next episode of the Pokemon Red Randomizer Nuzlocke. In the last episode, we made it to Fuchsia City. However, we did not do what I said we would be doing, which would be getting Fly. Because I said that I'd be wandering around the region trying to get Fly, and I determined where I think Fly is, because I didn't really know where it was. I was just wandering around, as I said. But I started to go in that direction, only to realize that I had the T, which I didn't think that I had. I thought that I had to go back to Celadon to get it. But I realized when I walked past the security guard in front of Saffron, on my way to Celadon, that I already had the T. And he just let me right on through. So I actually want to see here, because we have... how are we doing on the healing items? We have super potions. We have 6 super potions. Obviously, I want to always have, like, 10. Of the healing item that I'm using, of my chosen healing items, of like 10 healing items, 10 Pokeballs, and that applies to any type of healing item or Pokeball. So that's 10 Super Potions, or 10 Hyper Potions, or 10 Pokeballs or 10 Great Balls, depending on what point I am in the game, what point I'm at. And I don't actually know if I can get I don't actually know if I can get Hyper Potions and Ultra Balls here. Because if I can, this might be the earliest you can get them. I think it'll be down here. No? Or does this person just tell me what's in here? They actually just tell me what's in here, they don't actually tell me anything. So where are the Pokeballs at? I want to see. Because some department stores, in some Pokemon games, it sells you like the highest degree of like rarity of items. In this it does not. Okay, so ordinarily I'd get 10 of the potions, of whatever potion I'm at, whatever potion you'd be getting at that point in the game, and 5 revives, but since I'm playing a Nuzlocke, I don't need 5 revives, I don't need any revives, because it's not like I could use them anyway. A complete waste of money. So, I think that should bring us to 10 super potions, because I believe we had 6 before. I'm going to double check. I probably am at a point in the game where I could get hyper potions somewhere, but I'm too lazy to figure out where. I do now have 10 super potions, however, I did not check how many Great Balls I have, because I want to make sure I'm all stocked up on Great Balls while I'm here. Yeah, that's 6 more Great Balls that I need to get to my goal of having 10 at all times, so there we go. Abracadabra. Great Balls for me. Thank you, sir. So now we're going to head out of this department store and head to the left and go out that exit of this town, because I believe you can exit this town both ways. Yes, you could go to the left or the right. There's different paths. And before, I couldn't get through here because there was a Snorlax in the way. But now I can. I actually don't think I need to fight the Snorlax, however. I think I can just... I think that what I'm trying to do is not go that way, but go up this way, and then go down, and then go in that direction. Because I think I want the upper layer of the following route. Because that's where the house is, where the person gives you Fly, I believe. So what do you have to say, sir? How'd you get in? Good effort. Thank you. I try, I really do. But, so there should be a house up here, if I remember correctly, and in this house, you should be able to get Fly. Should be very helpful to us, as we're at the end of the game, so we're gonna need to do a lot of backtracking, very soon. Oh, you found my secret retreat. Please don't tell anyone I'm here. I'll make it up to you with this. I should do HMO too, and finally, I am in a situation where I don't have to get rid of something. Like, I always walk up to trainers and I'm like, oh yes, here's the trainer who gives me what I need at this point in the game. And they're gonna get what I need right now. And then I walk up to them and they try to give it to me, and they're like, you're out of room. And I'm like, crap. But yeah, in future games, when you go over to the when you go into like when you try to get through Cycling Road. First of all, in future games, there's not a guard that stops you at Cycling Road, because there are many. I forgot I can't just click on the Snorlax and then automatically put it. I have to actually go into my bag and then use it from there. Super Rod, nope, Pokeflute is what we need. Use. Alex, play the Pokeflute. It's a nice little melody that will wake up this Snorlax. I know if all Snorlaxes are randomized into the same thing. I imagine they would be, but at the same time, maybe all statics are randomized differently. Like, maybe it doesn't matter that these statics are usually the same Pokemon. Maybe it's just like every static is randomized differently. Let's see. Is this static a Gengar? No, this is a Squirtle. Okay. I think that every Snorlax counts as the same static. Maybe that's not how other people do it, but I think that's the most fair thing to do, personally. So I'm not gonna try to catch this Squirtle. I don't think the Squirtle is a legal encounter. And even if it was, I probably wouldn't try to catch it anyway because it's a Squirtle. It would take a long time to catch. However, it is level 30, so it might give us some pretty good XP, regardless of the fact that it's a Squirtle, because Squirtle obviously cannot give that much XP. It did not. It did not give that much XP at all. It did not help. Its level did not help with the whole XP thing. The XP it gave is still low. But in future games... Oh yeah, okay. So in future games, there's no guard in Cycling Road. You just kind of go onto Cycling Road and then you're on your bicycle. And I thought this guard was going to stop me and say, like, oh, you don't have a bicycle, you can't go this way. Because I believe Cycling Road is right over here. But I think that as long as I have the bike in my inventory, this guard won't stop me. And then when I go through here, it should automatically put me on the bike. Yes, because that's what it is in future games. Oh my gosh, bike is so much faster. I had no idea. What do you want? I want to go through this route, and in doing so, train up our Gengar here before we progress in the game. Just to make sure that everyone is an even level, because Albert is a little bit below everyone else. And I think a trip through Cycling Road, fighting all the trainers here, should do it in terms of evening out the levels. Excuse me while I take a quick drink, guys. I think it's so good in Gen 1 how Minimize actually makes the Pokemon sprite smaller. And it's honestly comical how much smaller it makes it, but oh, yes, this is the problem with Clefable, is that they have Metronome. And knowing my luck, these things could metronome something absolutely crazy to deal with. I honestly don't want to let this thing live for very long, because I know that the longer I let this thing live, the higher the chance that it's gonna use something insane with Metronome. So I'm gonna switch to Kyle, which has the Super Active Fighting type move, in order to deal with this Clefable as quickly as possible. It already woke up. I was hoping to deal with it before it woke up again, so that we wouldn't have to face another Metronome, but hey, actually it didn't even matter, because we hit it before it could even attack us. It woke up, and then died. It woke up, and then went back to sleep forever. How unfortunate. But anyway, I think that we might be super effective on this thing, because I don't think water actually resists ground. I think, but it is still super effective on us, and it probably outspeeds us, because I can't imagine Kyle is that fast. At one point I thought they were fast, but they didn't outspeed. They haven't been outspeeding the things that I was hoping they'd outspeed, which makes me think that they are not actually as fast as I originally thought. But yeah, Albert, Nightshade consistently does not one-hit KO, because it's consistently like a third of their health. Which is kind of annoying that Albert can never one-hit KO things. But like, I don't think we have a problem here. Like, I don't think that we're in danger of taking too much damage because we can't one-hit KO this thing. I just realized this thing is using Wrap, but we're a Ghost type, so it's literally doing nothing. What is even the point of it continuing to use Wrap? What is the point of the Wrap continuing? Just to annoy me? Because it's literally an attack that is doing nothing. It's continuing. The attack continues on and on and on. He uses it again and again on me, and I can't move, but his attack isn't even doing anything. So like, the point, I guess, is just to ignore me. Don't you dare laugh! I will not laugh. I will simply continue on to the next trainer, who is right below me. Nice bike! Hand it over! So this guy is trying to steal my bike, despite the fact that I just got it in the last episode. If you missed the last episode, yeah, that is one of the things we did. We got the bike, finally. Because I know that sounds like very late into the game, but I genuinely did not think I needed it. For some reason, it just didn't even cross my mind that at some point I'd want to go to Cycling Road. I mean, I guess it did, but it was just like, I could probably go without it. I'll probably get over it. But my drive to fight every single freaking trainer in this region, and not let any potential XP go to waste, has pushed me to get the bike. That alone has pushed me to get the bike, because I was like, okay, our Pokemon, Albert, is slightly underleveled compared to everyone else. That means we need trainers, because I'm sure as heck I'm not going to grind in the grass. There's no grass at this point, with the levels I'm at, that would actually give me a sufficient amount of XP. So it's like, okay, I gotta fight trainers now. Where can I find trainers? And then, of course, that brings me to Cycling Road, because I remember there's quite a lot of trainers here. Specifically, I remember that there's like the Versus Seeker, which people use all the time on Cycling Road, because there's a big bunch of these cyclers. I don't know if that's what they're called. The trainer class with the bicycles. But there's this big huge gathering of them, and so you can just like get five or six of them on screen at the same time, and then use the versus recorder, like versus seeker, right in the middle of them, and then all of a sudden they're all like ready to challenge again. So that's why people typically go here to grind, because it's great to just like not only be able to go right up to right up to something and get an encounter instantly. It's not like walking through the grass where you have to just like do it over and over again, like up, down, up, down, up, down, until you finally run into a Pokemon. It's like you run into the trainer, and then they fight, and then you talk to them, and they fight you. You know, it's like a certain thing. It's not like grass where it may take a little bit to get an encounter. It's like, no, you walk right up to them, you press A, and then you battle. So not only is it great because of that, but it's also great that they're trainers because they're trainers. Like, it's great to have that constant flow of trainers to fight, and it's quite a lot of them too, so you don't have to keep using the Versus Seeker and over and over again. It just, you use it once, and then you have 5 more battles, which is great that you can get that many with just one press of the Versus Seeker. And they're also trainer battles, so they're gonna have multiple Pokemon, which obviously that's more chances to get XP than any encounter with a wild Pokemon. And in general, they're just gonna have higher levels than the wild Pokemon, so that's gonna lead to you getting even more XP. Basically, fighting a trainer is pretty much always superior to fighting a wild Pokemon for grinding. And that's why there are only a set amount of trainers, because it is so much better to grind on trainers, so that's why they need to limit the amount, so that way you're sort of forced to grind in grass every once in a while. But yeah, Nidoran goes down, the Nidoran female. I'm fairly sure, I should have looked closer, because in the previous episode I didn't know if female Nidoran had a horn. And I still don't know, because I wasn't actually like really looking at the sprite. Knockout! Come out and play, little mouse! This guy is creepy. He called me a mouse. I'm not a mouse. But what is he even holding? Like, is he holding the front of his, bike? I just realized they're called designers. That's really funny. Is he even on a bike? I don't think this guy was even on a bike, actually. We're still paralyzed from the last battle, which kind of stinks. In Legends Arceus, I feel like paralysis just kind of goes away. Does it? Like, I feel like there are a bunch of status conditions in Legends Arceus that just kind of go away. I don't know if paralysis is one of them. Sleep definitely does. Because in Legends Arceus, sleep doesn't actually, like, make you skip turns. It makes you drowsy, which, like, gives you a chance to skip turns, but it doesn't, like, it's not like, in Legends Arceus, it's not like you can't attack until you wake up. It's more like paralysis sleep in Legends Arceus, because it's like, you're drowsy, and then some turns, you're sleeping. Rather than, you're asleep until you wake up. Which I think is, like, much better. In general, I think that paralysis is, like, no one likes to be frozen or put to sleep, but people can deal with paralysis, you know? Because, like, frozen or sleep, like, freezing or sleep is like, okay, my Pokemon literally cannot function. Paralysis, it's like, work through it. Like, yes, my Pokemon is slow, and it also may not be able to attack some turns, but it can still, like, it still can attack, you know? It can still put in work even if it's paralyzed. Meanwhile, sleep and freeze, it's just like, you are just sitting there, waiting for it to go away. And sleep is, like, tolerable. Sleep even is tolerable because it only lasts, like, 1 to 5 turns. But freeze is just outlandish, the fact that it, like, it will go away at a random point. Like, it goes away when it goes away. Like, I don't know if there's, like, a specific limit on how many turns you can be frozen. But knowing me, I'd be frozen for, like, a very long time if I ever got frozen. I haven't gotten frozen a lot in Pokemon. But that's just the thing, is that freezing is just, like, a really OP status condition. It's probably, like, the worst one. But the good thing is that, like, ice types are not a very common type in comparison to some other ones. And ice types are, like, the only ones that can freeze you. So, freezing is not only, like, the worst to deal with, but also, on top of that, is the least common to run into, which is good. It sort of balances it out. Anyway, you little rat! Now he's calling me a rat. First he called me a mouse, then he calls me a rat. It's like, bro, which one am I? There's a difference. Sure, I'll go. Oh my gosh, there really are a lot of trainers here. This is the place to be for grinding. My goodness, I see why people go. I see why people are always going here. But here is a Farfetch'd. I don't know how many Nightshades we have left because, first of all, can Nightshades hit normal types? They could hit Psychic types before, which other Ghost types couldn't do. So can they hit normal types? Yes! Nightshade just hits everyone. Nightshade has its own rules, I guess. Is it not very effective? I guess it doesn't matter because it's Nightshade. So in this game, is Ghost not very effective against normal, rather than normal being immune to it? Let's find out. Let me use Lick. Oh my gosh, Sword Stance. Okay. I probably shouldn't have given it a turn to set up like that. No, it just straight up doesn't affect. Okay. So that means we have no more moves left that can hit this thing, because it just had to dodge that Nightshade. So we're going to switch out here, and we are going to switch out to... Let's go Alice. Alice is our Haunter, right? We're getting rid of Haunter. Yes, it should be even easier for me to remember now, because I remember I named Albert because it's close to because it starts with the AL like Alice does, because I said that they were girlfriend and boyfriend, which is a little piece of lore that I established and then probably forgot about. I just like writing lore, and then sometimes it has like zero implication, but then I'm like, but it's like, okay, I just like making lore around my team members. I feel like that's just like natural for like content creators. And I know I'm not like much of a content creator just yet because I've only been doing this for like a month or two. But in general, I feel like people who want to be content creators have that sort of personality. People who are content creators and want to be content creators have that sort of personality where it's just like, oh, it's super effective, huh? That's weird. Ghost isn't normally... Oh wait, it's psychic, isn't it? That's crazy. I was like my brain saw that Dream Eater was psychic, and then my brain just didn't internalize it. And then I used it, and it was super effective against the Primate, and I was like, oh yeah, it is psychic. That's what I just read. Huh. For a second, I was like, Ghost is super effective against psychic? I did not know that. It definitely isn't in future gens, but I guess Gen 1. Gen 1 is gonna Gen 1, huh? But it was actually a psychic type move. Why is Dream Eater a psychic type move? That's so weird. I guess it's more like Hypno's thing, like Hypno and Drowsy, they eat dreams. So like, yes, it's learned by the Ghastly line, which is the only Ghost type line. So you'd think it would be Ghost type, but actually it is Psychic type. How interesting. Anyway, we're gonna put this thing to sleep too, because I think we have more PP on Dream Eater than we do with Nightshade. No, we do not. But we have used more Nightshades than we have Dream Eaters, so we're gonna save some PP on Nightshade real quick, give Dream Eater a chance to catch up in terms of used PP, and by going for it. And Dream Eater is actually gonna be super effective on this thing, because like I said, it is Psychic, which is also super effective in Poison, as well as Fighting. And it's gonna go for a critical hit, so it's gonna get a critical hit. So even if that Weezing was bulky enough to live one, it definitely was not living a crit. Anyway, Alex defeated whatever the heck. Don't make me mad! I will make you mad. I will make you very mad, assuming that you get mad when you lose. Because if you get mad when you lose, sorry, you just lost, so now you're gonna get mad. Hey, you just bumped me! Heck yeah. And I'll do it again. I'm feisty today. I'm not putting up with your crap, Tamer. Not putting up with your crap! Okay, so he's gonna send out their Dragonair. It should be a little bit more intimidating if it was Dragonite, but I could definitely take a Dragonair. Even paralyzed. I'm not even gonna cure the paralysis. I probably have something in my bag that could. Don't care to. Albert's such a beast that can handle you with the paralysis. In fact, they're probably gonna paralyze you with a lick. Nope. Okay, they're probably gonna paralyze you with this lick. I'm willing to put money on it. At least I would be if my bets went better in the past. Dang it, I should have put money on it. Dragonair almost owed me $40. Yeah, I was talking about something before. Oh yeah, I feel like that is such a, like, that is a trait of, like, commentators and people who want to be people want to be content creators. Sorry, not commentators, content creators. People who, like, do content creation, and people who want to do content creation, I feel like that's just a trait of theirs, like, that those people have that type of personality, where they like to just create a story, they like to build up a story around things. And so that is why I make this lore and then probably forget about it, because it really has no meaning to it. I just like, Alice and Albert are boyfriend and girlfriend, and really that doesn't mean anything because we're playing Pokemon. It's like, who actually cares? It's not like we can both have them out at the same time. Like, if this was Gen 3, then we could at least have them out as like double battle partners, and that would add to the lore, but like, that would like reinforce the lore. But at this point, it's just like, at this point in this game, it's just like a random factoid that I made up to build a story around them. But anyway, kaboom! Just thought it's interesting, because, like, you know, one's a Haunter and one's a Gengar, so if I had the opportunity to put some romance in there, I might as well. I'm feeling hungry and mean. But yeah, I'm just like, okay, I have 2 Pokemon. that are in the same evolution line. What can I do with this? Oh yeah, okay, let's make them dating. I like myself a little bit of romance. I actually watched, like, I shouldn't say I actually watched this, because then it makes it sound like I've watched it recently. You know what is one of my favorite movies? One of my favorite romance movies? I haven't watched a lot of romance movies. I definitely should watch more romance movies in the future. But, one of the big reasons why I want to watch more romance movies is because of this one movie that I watched one time, that I definitely want to rewatch at some point, called something like 10 Reasons Why I Hate You. It is really good, because it's like a really interesting plot, and it's also just really cute. Because basically how it works is that they immediately introduce you to this one guy, and he's like, I want to date this girl. Because, you know, romance movie. You know, romance movie and a romance movie. And so it's like, okay, this all sounds bog standard. It's like, okay, you've seen this 1,000 times before. It's like, whatever, I know where this is going. But the thing is, you don't. Like, that's where the plot twist comes in. Bad. No, it's a very good movie. Designer, let me sway you on this one. Mr. Designer, allow me to continue explaining. Because if you've never watched this movie, then, y'all are gonna be probably pretty surprised where this is going. So, because I know I was, like, watching it, I was like, wow, okay, I didn't expect this. There's no money in fighting kids. So basically, they present you with this one guy, and he liked this one girl. And so you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna watch a movie about them getting together. But what happens is that the girl's father won't let her go out with anyone until her sister, who is presented as this, like, bratty, annoying, just not very nice girl. I should say bratty and annoying. She's not really annoying. Like, she's annoying in the way that I wouldn't say bratty. She's just, like, not very nice. She's got, like, a prickly type of exterior. She's one of those girls. And so we're presented with her, and so basically, this guy really wants to go out with this girl. And this girl, like, these two characters that were presented with immediately, like, the girl really wants to go out with the guy, and the guy really wants to go out with the girl. But the girl would actually rather go out with this other guy. So basically, the main character, here's where it gets complicated. The main character pays off this one guy. So, the main character wants to date the one girl, right? And so this girl cannot date anyone until their sister starts dating. And so they need to get their sister to start dating so that they can date. And so what happens is, there's this one really rich, spoiled brat dude who wants to go out with this girl. And so our main character, so we think he is, the original boy that I mentioned, we'll just call him main character for now. So, the main character goes to this guy, and he's like, okay, I know you hate me, but listen, we should probably you should probably pay off this one guy to go out with this girl, because they wanted someone to go out with the girl, so that her sister obviously could date him. And so, basically what happens is that they find this one guy, and they're like, wow, they would be perfect for each other because they're both social outcasts that are, frankly, just the worst people to hang out with ever. Burned out! But, so they try to set them up, and they try to get the guy to, go over to the girl, and approach her, and, like, talk to her and say, like, pretend that she likes her. Pretend that he likes her. What do you want, kiddo? I want to explain this movie. So, anyway, they want him to go over, and, like, obviously they want him to go over and start going out with her, so that her sister can go out with the main character. And then this bully rich kid wants them to start dating, so that he can go out with the girl. So it's sort of like, okay, this main character and also his bully both want the same girl. So the main character convinces his bully to pay off this guy in order to make him go out with the girl's sister, because our main character wants to go out with the girl. But the but the bully thinks that he's paying him off so that he can go out with the girl. So the bully and the main character both want the same girl, but the main character is using the bully as a means of getting to the girl, because he doesn't have money to pay the guy off, but the bully does. So then, he feels like he's manipulating this bully, he feels like he's manipulating this bully guy into accidentally giving him the girl that he wants. But then he pays off like the unbearable guy, and he gets together with like the unbearable girl. Which means that our main character can now date the girl that he wants to date, because obviously his sister is going out with people, so that means that he can start going out with her. And, so you are led in this direction of believing that, like this original character you're introduced to, this original boy, and this original girl you're introduced to, are going to be the main characters, and we're going to watch their romance prosper. But what happens is that our main character boy, quote-unquote main character boy, is, what he finds is that when the sister that he likes, when the girl he likes, her sister starts going out with people, which enables her to start going out with him. So they go to a party, and then he finds that she actually likes the bully better. And so she's like hanging out with him and flirting with him instead of our main character boy. And so the main character boy is like really upset because he did all this, he like put together this whole plan so that they could date, and then she likes the bully boy that he convinced to pay off the one guy in order to ask her sister out. You heading to Fuchsia? No, actually, I'm not heading to Fuchsia, I just came from Fuchsia. But, so basically, he gets all angry because he did all this planning in order to get her, in order to make it so they could go out with each other, and then she didn't want to go out with him, she would rather go out with the mean bully guy. And so the mean bully guy so she starts hanging out with the mean bully guy, being flirty with the mean bully guy at the party, and then she realizes that the mean bully guy is a mean bully guy. She realizes that he's obnoxious and flirtatious and all around just kind of like a nuisance. So she goes back to our like main character boy, and he's like, well, you hurt my feelings, so I no longer like you. And she's like, okay, but I need a ride home. So she's like, she really didn't want to have to go crawling back to him after denying him, but she kind of has to because she needs a ride home. And meanwhile, her sister, who is with Unbearable Boy, his name is Patrick, by the way, her sister, who is with Patrick, they are both at the party because obviously now they're together. Her sister, who is always like prim and proper and saying that alcohol is bad and that high school parties are stupid, and she doesn't want to be. She usually is like super, like boys are dumb, and they're a waste of time, and parties are a waste of time, and she's normally all like that. But she started drinking because she was upset or something. I don't remember why she's upset, but so she throws up on Patrick, and then Patrick has to drive her home. Meanwhile, our main character boy, and so Patrick takes pleasure in driving her home because Patrick, who got paid obviously to go out with her, is actually starting to like her. Meanwhile, our main character boy is like can't even stand the girl that he's driving home at this point because she already denied him. She already rejected him for the bully boy, but now she has no ride home because her sister was going to drive her home, but her sister got drunk and now Patrick is driving her home. So now she has no one to drive her home, so basically our main character boy has to drive her home. And it's like a whole really awkward drive home, and he's like, oh, you led me on, this was all for you, and you stabbed me in the back. And then what happens is that, and so you're like, okay, their romance, so then you're like, okay, so maybe this isn't about this main character boy. Maybe it's not about his romance with this girl, maybe it's about that girl's sister's romance with Patrick. And you're starting to think, oh, So, wait, who are the main characters of this movie? Crash and burn! But, then, what happens from there is that when Patrick finishes driving the unbearable girl, the sister, when Patrick finishes driving the sister home, she's, like, super drunk, obviously. And so she leans in for a kiss, only for him to reject her, because he doesn't want, because, like, he loves her, and he doesn't want to kiss her while she's under the influence, because he knows that if she wasn't under the, because he thinks that if she wasn't under the influence of alcohol, then she wouldn't want to kiss him. So he doesn't want to, he feels like he would be taking advantage of her if he tried to kiss her right now, so he doesn't, which makes her angry, and she storms out of the car, and she's like, I should have known, and, let Volto electrify you, and she's like, storms out of the car, she's like, I should have known, and she's all angry, and, well, meanwhile, the two characters, the main character boy, and the girl he likes, he's, like, lecturing her all the way home, and he's like, you play with my feelings, I don't like you, I really liked you before, but now I realize that you're kind of a jerk. And so, this seems like it's going really badly too. But what happens is that she's like, I'm sorry, and then she kisses him, when they get to the house. And so then, it's looking like, okay, so before, so it's like, okay, originally, this movie looked like it was going to be about main character boy and the girl he likes. And so they were like because they introduced those two first. But then, suddenly we're introduced to these other characters, and then we're introduced to these other characters, and it's like, oh, these are just side characters. And the only reason why Patrick exists as a character is to get paid off, so that the main character has a means of going out with the girl he likes, and the sister is just the means by which they are able to go out. And so, originally we are presented in this movie with a main character boy and a girl that he likes that he can't go out with because her sister isn't dating yet, and she needs her sister to be dating in order for her to be able to date. And so, originally we're presented with the story that way, which makes it seem like this main character boy and the girl he likes are going to be the main characters. However, grounded out. However, from there, we see that the romance between Patrick and the sister start to prosper. And so then it's like, oh, are they the main couple? Are they the main characters? We're bikers, highway stars. And then we see that, like, okay, while their romance is prospering, at the party, the main character boy gets mad at the girl, and she actually ends up rejecting him. And so then we're like, okay, things are going well for the sister and Patrick now. So is it their movie? Is this movie about their love story? And then the drive home happens with both of them. And one drive home ends with a kiss, and the other drive home ends with not only not a kiss, but also just like the girl getting very angry because she wanted a kiss. And so now it's like, okay, well, things were going great for Patrick and the sister, and we thought it was going to be about them, but then all of a sudden they're fighting because she was drunk and he didn't want to kiss her while she was drunk. And then the other two who are currently the other two characters, the main character boy and the girl he likes, come home, are driving home, and it's awkward, and he hates her because she rejected him, only to ask him for a ride home. Smoked! But, then we see that they kiss, and then it's like, oh, okay, so then it's their love story. And it's just, like, switching back and forth, and it's constantly a movie that's, like, just defying expectations, because it's like, oh, you think the main character is gonna be these two, and then it's not, and then you're like, oh, wait, maybe the main character is gonna be these two, and then they start fighting, and it's like, okay, so wait, are the main character these two, and then they're kissing, and it's, oh, okay, so they must be the main characters, and then, like, later on, these two get back together, and so it's really, like, an interesting movie, because it keeps diverting your expectations. I need a little exercise. And the characters that they initially show you, which is like this main character boy, not really the main character, because he's not actually the one on the cover. If you look at the cover of the film, the ones on the cover are Patrick and the sister, which I can't remember for the life of me, actually. I wish I could. This is a really good movie, so I'm really kind of upset that the only character name I remember is Patrick, and I think that it'd be much easier for me to explain the movie if I just knew everyone's names, but I don't. But yeah, I won't really go into too much more detail, but there are like a lot of twists and turns, and it is just a really good movie. So if you like romance and you somehow haven't seen it, because I feel like this is a very well-known romance movie, because like I looked up, I like Google searched, I had a question about the movie and I Google searched it, and it seemed like there was a big old Reddit thread about it, and there was like a pretty obscure question too, but apparently like a lot of people have been wondering, which led me to believe like this is a pretty common movie, and I think I saw it on like a best movies to watch on Valentine's Day, so I'd imagine like it's a pretty well-known romance movie, and I just haven't heard of it because I don't watch a lot of romance movies. But yeah, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And if you haven't heard of it, once again, it is called, I believe, 10 Reasons Why I Hate You. And, yeah, by all means, go check that one out. If you like romance movies, then go check it out. If you don't like, because I'm sure you're gonna love this one, if you don't like romance movies, then go check it out anyway, because this might make you like romance movies. Because, like I said, I haven't watched a lot of romance movies before this one. But after watching this one, I think that I may very well do so, because it's just like, it hit me right in the feels. Like, multiple times it hit me right in the feels, and it was also just really funny. It is a romantic comedy. I think that it is more sad than funny, but there are aspects of it that were really funny, I will say. Like, the scene where they're at the party, and then the girl just throws up on Patrick's shoes. Like, they literally, like, sit down on the swing, and she's, like, drunk out of her mind, and then she just, like, and then they're just, like, you think they're, like, having a moment or whatever, and then all of a sudden she just, like, throws up, like, right, just, like, leans over, and then just, like, those are my shoes. And then he's like, okay, we need to bring you to the car. And it's so, like, it's such a well-done movie, and it's such, like, a diversion of expectations, as I said, because you are initially introduced this character. You were initially introduced to Patrick as this character who is like a social nightmare. Like, he doesn't want to talk to anybody. He doesn't want to be associated with anybody. He doesn't want anyone talking to him. He just like is like go away to everybody. He wants to be left alone. And then as the movie progresses, he starts like it starts out as just like, oh, we're paying you to go out with this girl. And then as the movie goes on, he like legitimately opens up, and he realizes, and at first she's like being a real jerk to him, because obviously she doesn't like the idea of getting a boyfriend. Woo, good workout! She thinks that they are like only getting in the way of her education or whatever, and so she doesn't like the idea of getting a boyfriend, and she doesn't like the idea of getting a boyfriend, and he doesn't like the idea of just human interaction in general. So you think like, oh yeah, this is never gonna work. They are just like, he's just doing this simply because he wants the money, and that's originally what it was. But over time, he genuinely grows to love her. And originally, he's like doing things to please her just because he wants the money, but then he like actually starts doing things to please her because he wants to please her. And it's just like it's just so cute. I love it. It's a notice. Watch out for discarded items. I'd imagine there are quite a few hidden items then on this route, and I believe I recall there being quite a few actually, but I don't know where any of them are. So, trainer tips. All Pokemon are unique. Even Pokemon of the same type and level grow at different rates. So, I'd imagine are there natures in this game? Or is it just talking about, like, EVs and IVs? What is even an EV and an IV? What's the difference? Let's see. Can I get access to a nature? Is there any natures? There don't seem to be any natures that I can see, at least. Trainer tips. Press the A or B button to stay in place while on a slope. Because I'd imagine there is like a value, there is a like term or something that is like identifying, like, okay, this is why this Pokemon is growing this way. I'm sure there is a reason for it, like why each Pokemon is growing differently. This is Selling on City to Future City is what the sign says. So does that mean we're at the end of the route here? Oh wait, there are some more trainers. Nice bike. How's it handle? It handles like, I don't know. It's like walking, but faster. Does that give you any idea of how the bike handles? I'm not really one for... I don't really know how people talk about bikes. I don't really know how to talk about bikes, to be honest. I should switch Albert out of the front. Because, like, switch training is good and all, but I kind of want other Pokemon to get, like, actual XP, and everybody else is, like... It's kind of... Like, it's not really preferable that everyone else's XP is getting split in half, just so a Pokemon that is, like, one level below everyone else can get XP. These Dream Eaters, though, are doing a heck of a lot of damage. Like, it is nice to be, like, finally actually one-shotting things. It is kind of annoying that we have to Hypnosis them first to put them to sleep before we can use the Dream Eater. But it's nice to be finally 100%ing things, because, like, 100%ing. It's nice to finally be 100... Like, not 100%. OHKOing. One-hit KOing things. One-shotting? One-shotting is the term I'm looking for. It's nice to finally be one-shotting things, because a Nightshade just wasn't doing so, because it always did, like I said, like around 1/3, which is not a bad amount of damage. It just gets kind of annoying when you are fighting so many trainers, and and Nightshade has like such low PP too. It's like 3 on each when you have 15 PP. It's like you can kill a maximum of like 5 Pokemon with Nightshade before you're out of PP on Nightshade. Anyway, so Tamer is going to send out Zapdos, like we haven't seen a lot of those already, which brings me to a point that I actually brought up in a previous episode, but I probably forgot about. I didn't really finish it, which is oh my gosh, that did a lot. That did a lot. We are going to switch to Kyle, because Kyle, as a rock type, can probably take those drill packs a heck of a lot better than our ghost type can. We'll say, Haunter's got a very high special attack, but not very good at taking hits. Every Pokemon has a downside. Every Pokemon has its upsides and downsides, its pros and cons. And the pro with Haunter is the high special attack. The con is the low defense. And in future games, it would be even worse, because like at least in this game, special is both special attack and special defense. So their special defense is the same as their special attack. Like they are just as good at taking the special hits as they are dealing the special hits, dealing the special damage, which they are very good at dealing the special damage, which means they are also very good at taking the special hits. Obviously, this will not remain the same in future generations, because Haunter becomes even more of a glass cannon, because then in future generations, it doesn't have that special defense that is as good as its amazing special attack. This Acid is doing a heck of a lot more damage than I thought it would, by the way. The critical hit definitely helps. But even then, like, it was doing quite a bit of damage. Like, I put the Zapdos to sleep just because I was concerned about our ability to kill it before it killed us with Acid, because Acid has such low power, comparatively to every other move we have on this Pokemon. But, Acid was putting in work, not gonna lie. Shoot! Shoot indeed, my friends. So I'm just gonna let go of the button I was gonna say, but now I'm gonna catch myself before I go past this thing. What does the sign say? It's a notice. Don't throw the game. Throw Pokeballs instead. Is that like a fourth wall break you got there? Okay. So we went down that path, but now we're gonna go back up this path in case we missed any trainers along that side. Get lost, kid. I'm bushed, because the road is actually split by like this waterway. That is not like a full waterway. It's not like a river that goes all the way down. There's like ground in between the water. Oh my gosh, I was supposed to switch out Albert from the front in between battles, but I did not. I forgot to do that. I gotta, like... Okay, I'm just gonna say it, like, a bunch of times. I'm just gonna say it a bunch of times to myself so I can't forget. Alex, switch out Albert from the front. Alex, switch out Albert from the front. Alex, switch out Albert from the front. Okay, that should do it. That should do it as a reminder. That should keep it in my head until I can finish the battle. Assuming that this battle doesn't take too long, which it might. It might take too long for me to actually remember, because this Dragonite is wrapping me so continuously. So unceasingly. Hopefully the sleep powder just works. Yeah, okay. Because Dragonite, I'm sure will be able to take the acids better than whatever we were fighting before. Zapdos, actually. So, Zapdos, I feel like Dragonite's more bulky than Zapdos, though. Like, Legendaries are obviously, like, super broken compared to regular Pokemon. but not all their stats are, like, super broken compared to regular Pokemon. Like, usually legendaries have, like, 1 or 2 good stats, just like any other Pokemon would. But the Zapdos was taking the assets better. So, I guess I'm just wrong, and Zapdos's physical defense is higher than I thought. I guess all Zapdos' stats are just good. Because I didn't, like, out of all the stats Zapdos would have, I feel like defense would be the weakest. But even still, like, I still assume that it is. Like, that doesn't change my mind. But now I'm just thinking, wow, all of Zapdos' stats must be busted. Because I still think that defense is probably the weakest, because, like, it probably has decent HP. Its attack and special... I feel like Zapdos is a mixed attacker in this game. I feel like Zapdos is a mixed attacker in all games, but specifically because it's, like, a flying type and electric type, and in this game, that means that it can hit... One stab is special and one stab is physical. I feel like it would make sense for it to be a mixed attacker. I think that the special attack is higher. Maybe? I don't actually know, because it comes with Drill Peck. So maybe that's just because it's a bad Pokemon. I should say bad Pokemon, it is a legendary, like one of the few in the game, so it is better than a whole lot of other Pokemon. But, yeah, maybe it's just like, maybe that's not beneficial, like maybe it just learns Drill Peck, but that's not actually, like, it comes with Drill Peck, and Drill Peck is like a move that it possesses for a while, but that's not like a good thing. Like, perhaps it's just like an unfortunate truth, like, yes, it has Drill Peck, but it would be so much better if it had Thunderbolt, you know? Like, maybe it is a much better special attacker than it is a physical attacker, but the fact that it has Drill Peck, like, for so much of the game, like, its learn set, it learns Drill Peck pretty early and doesn't learn anything else for, like, a very long time, makes me think that it's probably a physical attacker. But anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, I was talking about legendaries. Nice transition. I could have done, like, a nice transition from Zapdos to legendary birds, if I actually remembered that I was talking about legendary birds before, but I didn't, so... Are you satisfied? Yes, I am satisfied with my victory over you, and now I will switch Albert out of the front. My little, affirmation worked. Is that what you call it, an affirmation? Something that you... Well, I guess it comes from the root word affirm, right? Which is, like, to make sure the idea is in your head, I guess, to, like, restate something, I suppose. It's a notice. Did I already hit this? I did already read this one. This is the one that broke the fourth wall by saying, don't throw your game. Is that something that people did? Is that, like, an actual notice? Like, people were just throwing their Game Boys? So they're like, don't throw your game, please! We're gonna put a sign about it in Pokemon. Be a rebel! No, I'm good. I'll stay non-rebellious, thank you. But yeah, so we're facing off with another designer over here. He's very, as you can see by the look on his face, he's very passionate about design. So we're gonna use the rolling kick because Seal, I believe, is Ice type. No, it is not. Dugong is definitely Ice type. I was sure Seal was Ice type. That is actually, like, crazy to me that it's not. But, like, Seal, okay, I can believe that it's not Ice type. That's not, like, crazy to me or anything. Like, okay, yeah, it's crazy to me that it's not Ice type. But it's like, now that I've seen it, I can believe it. Like, I can see why it wouldn't be Ice type. It definitely came as a surprise that it wasn't. But now that I've seen it, I get it. I understand why it's not. Dugong, though. If I hit a Dugong and then found that it wasn't Ice type, then I would probably just be like, okay, who hacked my game? Who is changing Pokemon types here? What kind of mods do I have on by accident here that Dugong isn't an Ice type? Because I am, like, even more certain that Dugong is an Ice type than I was that Seal was an Ice type. And I was pretty certain with Seal. Also, the sleep powder was clearly pointless because we could have 2-hit KO'd this thing anyway. But anyway, going back to the whole thing of the legendary birds. Well, let me just read this guy's dialogue before I continue talking. Arrgh! So glad I read that. Very in-depth, very helpful. Really taught me a lot about the game. But anyway, so about those legendary birds. In a previous episode, I said about how I didn't know if I was getting Articuno or Zapdos, and since the Pokemon are randomized, it doesn't really matter which one I pick in terms of, like, the Pokemon. Like, obviously the Pokemon, like, which one is better, Zapdos or Articuno, doesn't really matter. Even though I think I already know the answer, I think it's Zapdos, but, my Pokemon won't evolve! Why? So the actual Pokemon that I'd be getting doesn't matter because obviously it's a randomizer. So it doesn't matter which one is better, Zapdos or Articuno, because I might not get either. What matters is the level of the Pokemon. Because ordinarily, like, you would go for Zapdos because Zapdos is the better Pokemon. But I don't know if Zapdos is the higher level one. Articuno might be the higher level one because it is later, it is like, I guess, yes, it would take longer to access. I guess it would take about the same length, but it's like, Articuno is later into the progression of the game. Like, yes, like, both. To get Articuno, you need Strength, and to get Zapdos, you need Surf. So, like, technically, both of them you're not able to get before Fuchsia City. Why you? But at the same time, the fact that one is in Cerulean and one is in Fuchsia makes me think that, like, regardless of the fact that you would only be able to get both at the same like after Fuchsia, the fact that one is like so much earlier in so much of an earlier town than the other one's location is located in like the progression of the game makes me think that Articuno would be higher level. So like while Zapdos is like Articuno is probably like the worst Pokemon, I feel like their level would be higher, so I think I should go for Articuno. Cycling Road, slope ends here. That is great, because this episode has been going on for quite a while. And it's not that I don't love recording, but I am a bit, like, crunched for time, in this, tonight, so I'm glad to be able to finish off Cycling Road here and end off the episode. I did want to get it done in one episode, because I feel like I don't want to keep you waiting too much longer for all the Saffron City stuff. Just wanted to do a quick episode. It didn't end up being that quick. I just wanted to do a quick episode, sort of getting through all the filler stuff, so that we could continue on with the story in the next one. Cycling Road, no pedestrians permitted. Luckily, I'm not a pedestrian. I am a man with a bike, which I just got in the last episode. It feels good to join the society of people biking around, but anyway. I feel like Articuno is probably the better choice just because of, like, levels. Obviously, in the actual game, it wouldn't be the better choice, but since the Articuno is not going to be an Articuno, and the Zapdos is not going to be a Zapdos, I feel like I should go for the Articuno. Just because I feel like the level of the Articuno will be higher. I definitely will check it before I throw my Master Ball, before I start going for one. So I don't know for sure which one I'll be going for, but what I do know is that sadly, Albert is going to have to get kicked to the curb for the Legendary just because we don't need 2 Ghost Poison types. But anyway, that is something for another day. Thank you so much for watching, Eevee Clan. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and this is Alex Espion, signing off.